Hi guys, so I had the Flint water crisis. Water is very important in our day-to-day lives. Almost 3/4 of our body is made up of water. That's 70%. That's a lot. Water is very important in our day-to-day lives because we need it to wash our hands, take a shower, brush our teeth. We're supposed to drink 8 cups of water a day to remain healthy, and in the summertime, it's fun to jump into a pool or a lake or even throw water balloons at each other. According to UNICEF, universal access to drinking water is a fundamental and human right. These are some fun facts of Flint, Michigan. So this is the map. Michigan is a state that looks like a glove, and in the east side is Flint, right there. And there are almost 100,000 people in the population of that city. 41% live in poverty, sadly. The median income of Flint, Michigan is half of the median income of the entire state's income. And I think that's sad. 56% of the population is African American, and they're known for having the largest General Motors plant. Before Flint used water from Flint River, they used water from Detroit. That's where they got it from. But it became too costly, so they had to change it. And so they decided to create a plan. They were going to build a pipe all the way to Lake Huron, which is north of Flint and Michigan. But it takes 2 years, so they needed some water to use in that process. And they decided to use Flint River because it was close and it seemed convenient. But Flint River was never an ideal source of water. In the 70s, the quality decreased significantly due to the presence of fecal coliform bacteria, low dissolved oxygen, plant nutrients, oil, and toxic substances, according to CNN. They found out that Flint River is 19 times more corrosive than the water they were getting from Detroit. And there's lead seeping into the water from the old pipes that they've started to use again because they haven't used the water from Flint River as their drinking or main water source for a very long time. In August 2014, they found traces of fecal coliform bacteria in the water, so the city decided to issue a boil water advisory. Now, if you're like me, I don't know what a boil advisory is. So I found a frequently asked questions document from Flint. It has basic questions that anyone would have in that city, like why do I have to boil my water? Should I use bottled water? What is the proper way to disinfect my water in case I have children or just for myself or for other purposes such as cleaning clothes or taking showers? And I was surprised to see that if you couldn't boil your water, you were told to add bleach to clean it. And I think it's silly and embarrassing that Americans have to put bleach in their water because it's unsafe to drink. I think that's kind of ridiculous. And there are a lot of more dangers of the Flint water. They issued another boil water advisory after they found another sort of bacteria, the total coliform bacteria. And that led to them finding also traces of E. coli. And so the state tries to fix each problem with just adding more chlorine. Oh, we found one type of bacteria and we're going to add some chlorine. Oh, we found another one, we're just going to keep adding chlorine, and that actually became a problem. There was too much chlorine in the water and it started corroding the engine parts of the General Motors plant that they're so known for. In March of 2015, the city council members decided this wasn't a good idea, that they should switch back to the water in Detroit, but they were overruled by one person. The EPA limit of lead is 15 parts per billion in your water, and there was this woman, her last name was Walters, and she had her water tested in February of 2015, and they found that she had over 100 parts per billion of lead. And that is a lot considering the legal limit is 15 parts per billion. Not even a year later, over a year later, she had over 13,000 parts per billion of lead per water. Anything over 5,000 is considered hazardous waste. Ever since they started using the water from the Flint River, 40% of homes have had elevated levels of lead in their water. Numbers of children with elevated levels of lead have risen. 3 schools were found to have elevated levels of lead in their water that they've been providing to the children in the school. And over 9,000 children have had lead poisoning. And multiple state workers are under criminal investigation because they may or may not have been aware of the horrible conditions of the water and what they've been doing to the citizens. There are lots of effects of the water, the hazardous water, on the citizens. Just in general, you can damage your kidneys, heart, or nerves. If you're a child, you can have damaged hearing. Your cognition can be impaired, behavioral disorders, and delayed puberty. If you're pregnant and you are drinking this water, your fetus may not grow to the size that it should be. It might be smaller. They also found traces of TTHM, which was found to cause cancer, which is horrible. And there's a Legionnaire's disease that outbroke since they started using Flint River as their source of water, and 10 people have died, and 87 people have been infected and affected by it. And as I mentioned before, 9,000 kids were found to have lead poisoning. So, I hope by this point you're thinking, what can I do to help? Well, there are many things you can do. If you have the money to help donate, if you go to my PowerPoint, you can click on this link and you can donate to the Flint Water Fund, and that can help them. If you don't want to do that, you can support and fund the researchers and organizations that are educating the public down there, and they're addressing the city officials, and they're getting water bottles and just other things to clean the water so that they can try to live and lead a normal life. You can donate directly to the schools because 3 of the schools had elevated levels of lead in their water. Or if you want to click this link, you can sign a petition that will be sent to the Governor Snyder of Flint, Michigan. And just remember, universal access to safe drinking water is a fundamental need and human right. Just think of that before you decide whether or not you would like to help. And when you guys have the time, there is a video attached, so you can just watch that. These are my sources. Thank you.